Alright, this dude, let's call him Arav, wants to be rich. But his life is humble. He grew up with a single mom. No mentors, nothing handed to him. He's hungry and looks for advice on how to level up. He starts working at one of my favorite cafes. And while I'm chilling in my usual corner seat, I see him walk up to this older guy in a suit. Let's call him Mr. Traditional. I've seen him around. He never smiles. Seriously, Arav asks for some advice. I can already tell where this is going. Mr. Traditional snaps. Your generation is lazy. No one wants to work hard anymore. Arav tries to explain he's paying his own way through college, working long shifts, and planning a side hustle. But Mr. Traditional cuts him off mid-sentence. He says young people just want handouts, fast money, and instant results. Now, I come from a pretty modest background myself. I made my first million in my 20s. It wasn't luck, but from relentless hustle and mastering high-income skills. So when I saw that conversation go down, I had to step in. I walk over and say something like this. Look, times have changed. Yes, older generations worked hard, but that doesn't mean this generation isn't grinding just as hard. They're navigating a more complex world, rising costs, tech disruption, saturated markets. That takes smarts and courage. Arav is working, studying, and trying to build something for himself. That's hustle, that's grit. That deserves encouragement, not criticism. We, the older generation, should be mentors, not barriers. Honestly, I doubt I changed Mr. Traditional's mind. But that's fine. Some people are stuck in their thinking. Not all of us are like that. Later on during Arav's break, we sit down for an hour and I give him the real game. No fluff, straight strategies. That conversation got me thinking. There are probably millions of young, ambitious people like Arav out there. So I decide to break down the exact advice I gave him into 5 principles. Follow these and you'll build real wealth no matter where you're starting from. Principle No. 1. Focus on sharpening your axe. For the first 10 years of your life, you're just a kid doing kid things. Then the next 10, you're stuck in classrooms learning stuff you'll barely use. Like the Pythagorean theorem or how to analyze Shakespeare. It's only in your 20s that real life smacks you in the face and you start figuring out how money really works. So when you see 22-year-olds driving Lambos on Instagram or YouTube, you start feeling behind. But let me say this, don't. You're just getting started. School didn't prepare you for the real world. It's not your fault, but now it's your responsibility. Don't focus on earning millions right away. Focus on sharpening your skills because that's your axe. You wouldn't try to cut down a tree with a dull blade, right? Yet most people start businesses or jump into investing without sharpening themselves first. So how do you sharpen your axe? You master a high-income skill. These are skills that can consistently bring in $10,000 plus per month. Think video editing, copywriting, software development, sales, content strategy. The demand is there, and if you get really good, the money follows. For example, one of our Finance Bite community members, Arjun, mastered video editing in college. Within a year, he had clients lined up and was earning more than most 9-to-5 jobs pay. But the real value wasn't just the income, it was the doors it opened. He got to network with creators, entrepreneurs, and investors, people who could literally change his life. So pick 1 or 2 high-income skills and go all in. Learn, practice, deliver. Don't worry if it takes 6 months or a year. This isn't a sprint. This is about building long-term, repeatable wealth. Remember this, if someone took all your money away, but you had strong skills, you could make it back faster than ever. That's the power of sharpening your axe. Principle No. 2. Money is meant to be left alone. Think of your money like a stack of cookies. The more you touch them, the more they crumble. If you're constantly moving money around, buying this, investing in that, you're probably making emotional, not logical decisions. How do you think investors like Warren Buffett built 99% of their net worth after turning 50? Compound interest, the secret. You can't access your money easily. You need to put it somewhere it can grow slowly, quietly, powerfully. That means investing in assets, stocks, index funds, real estate, even things like gold or collectibles. But for me and for a lot of modern investors, the stock market is king. That's how I built my passive income stream to over $17,000 a week. Not from day trading, from long-term investing, from consistency. But here's the problem. Everyone wants to flex their first million. Buying designer stuff, fast cars, bottle service. But that's not the game. The real game is, can you make $1 million? Then keep it? Can you grow it? Can you make it work for you? Here's what I did when I was younger. I invested consistently every month. I set a rule: never sell my long-term stocks. I treated that money like it didn't even exist. Why? Because it lit a fire under me. It made me hustle harder because I never felt rich. I always felt broke. That mindset is dangerous in a good way. Start small if you have to. Even $200 a month invested in a low-cost index fund can become $1.5 million over 40 years with a 10% return. One guy from our Finance Bite community automated his investments through a simple app, just $5 a day. After 10 months, he was up $200 with an 11% return. That's the power of consistency. Find what works for you and stay the course. Consistency builds fortunes. Emotion destroys them. Principle no. 3. Fear holds you back. The number one thing holding people back from becoming wealthy isn't lack of knowledge, it's fear. But it's not even fear of failure, it's fear of judgment. I've met countless young hustlers who have big dreams, but they're paralyzed by what people might say if they mess up. If they start a business and it fails, if they invest and it goes wrong. Look, if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you'll get the same results as everyone else. Playing it safe rarely builds wealth. Taking calculated risks does. When I was younger, I used to be a carpenter. My boss treated me like dirt. I wanted to quit and start something of my own, but I was scared. Eventually, I took the leap, and that leap changed my life. Now, don't be reckless. Be strategic. But understand this, if you're in your 20s or 30s, your biggest asset is time. You can afford to fail. You can afford to take swings. You'll recover. You don't want to be that person saying, I had an idea once. You want to be the person who actually tested that idea. Even if it didn't work, you're better for it. The most successful people in the world, they've failed dozens of times. They've been laughed at, rejected, doubted, but they kept going.